Welcome to the Rusted Garden Homestead. Today's video is all about the bag soil products you find at Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, etc. Please watch the whole video because it will save you money and it's going to give you some understanding of what all the different named products are, why you would want to spend money on something and maybe not spend money on something else. It gets very confusing. Now, each year I kind of vary how I make my own container mix. I will link a video there. Don't get stuck on the ratios, just follow the principles. All right, so the first thing that I did is I simplified the video for this year. Last year I had topsoil and other products in there. We really don't use those for the garden. So when you walk into any of your big box stores, you're going to see, let's clear this off, garden soil for in-ground use only. That's $6.97 a bag. You can also find right next to it garden soil. It says vegetables and herbs. Forget that. That's just a selling point. $8.97. These are the same size bags. So already they're trying to get you to spend $2 more for something that looks basically the same. This is the garden soil out of that bag. This is the garden soil out of this bag. Why spend $2 more? Now, it's garden soil and all the bags always say do not, well, it doesn't say that. It says use in-ground only, which what they're saying is don't use it in containers. It's not a container mix, it's not a potting mix. I found this is dry quartz, so there's a little bit more in here. This is 50 dry quartz, 55 liters. Liters is a good comparison. This is 42 liters there. So 55 liters, $7.99, dry mix. It's got some wood chips, shredded wood in there, and peat moss. Peat moss is going to be key, keep that in mind. So planting soil, gardening soil, same price. Found this at Costco, $7.99. That's a pretty good price if you're going to pay for bagged soil products. Now, we come over here. This is really good compost according to Nature Care, which is also Miracle Grow. That's $4.97. That's actually not a bad price for compost if you're not making your own. This is what it looks like, and to be honest with you, they don't look much different. And this one says made with compost. So why couldn't you mix in, you know, half a bag with this, with those two? You still have some left over, and you get the point. You're starting to save money. You can get the basic bag stuff and start mixing in your own amendments. That's compost. This is leaf grow. This is not offered everywhere. This is in Maryland. I mean, I think the municipal centers make this, sell it in Maryland. It's basically leaves and other organic matter, really broken down well. So you could take some of this, mix it with the garden soil. You're starting to make not only a great soil for your garden beds, but you're beginning to make a container mix or a potting mix that's really inexpensive. Because when we come over here, that's a potting mix. That is 50 dry quartz too, 55 liters, $14.47. If you're trying to fill your containers with a potting mix or a container mix, this is where they get you. You end up spending a fortune. This is what it looks like right out of the bag. It's dry, it's light, and it works really well. If you've got the money and this is what you want to use, nothing wrong with it. They throw in some perlite, maybe some vermiculite. You can buy those too. You can buy, I think, a 20-quart bag of vermiculite and 20-quart bag of perlite. Throw in a couple handfuls, it ends up looking like this, but you don't need it. Potting mix. Now, what is this? This kind of looks like that, without the little bits of perlite. This is just plain old peat moss. This is all that's really added, starting down there with the garden soil. They add in more peat moss, more peat moss, more peat moss, and they work their way down till they have a really nice looking potting mix or container mix. While they're doing that, they may throw in some compost, they'll throw in organic fertilizers, they'll throw in different kinds of microbiology. Just don't get fooled by that. You can just throw in handfuls of granular fertilizer yourself that you get on sale. You can throw in some dirt, earth, soil from your yard. That will put in microbiology into your container. So this is peat moss. $10.97 from Home Depot. I just bought it. Finely milled, retains water, loosens up soil. This is what you want in your potting mix or your container mix. It just makes for a great base for containers, pots, raised beds, if you want to use them in raised beds. I'm going to be filling more of those root pouches that I sell at my seed shop for a series I'm doing. Rather than paying $14.47 for bags of potting mix to fill them up, I'll make my own. How do I do it? Now, don't follow this exactly. I will link a video. It probably varies a little bit from this, but basically what you're doing, and you could do this if you have a yard, you could take 50% of your yard soil, mix it with 50% peat moss, and makes a great base for you to add to it. But let's just say you can't do that. So what I recommend is finding the cheapest bag of garden soil and pick yourself up a 3 cubic foot bale of dried compressed peat moss for $10.97. This goes a long way, and basically, I don't know why I always say basically over and over again, essentially, you take 50% garden soil and peat moss, and you would mix it together. That makes a really nice base. You could add in a little more garden soil if you think it maybe looks too loose or something. Depending on the different product that you buy, it'll vary, but start 50-50. You have something that looks like that. You take your 50-50 mix and you have a big pile. And again, you know, 50-50 means if I use a little shot glass, it's 1 part peat moss, 1 part garden soil, 1 shot glass full of peat moss, 1 shot full of garden soil, and I get a little bit like this. If I want to do 50-50, you can eyeball it, or you can use 5 gallons of the garden soil, 5-gallon bucket of the peat moss, and you get the point. So that makes a nice 50-50 mix. Then you could throw in, of what you have left, you know, maybe 25% compost into that mix. And you're starting to build a really nice potting mix in container soil for your raised beds or your containers. If you have leaf grow available, you could throw some leaf grow in there, and you get the idea. By using the peat moss, you could swap that out for a cocoa coir. They essentially provide the same thing. Cocoa coir is a little bit more expensive. Use a combination of both. You can start with the cheaper garden soil, add in peat moss, cocoa coir, combination of the two, make the mix, add in your compost, add in some leaf grow, and then you end up with, again, a potting mix that's going to really support your plants. Throw in your granular fertilizers, any other amendments you want to. You saved yourself a lot of money by doing it this way. Hope that makes sense. I think it's really important to know what you're buying. So just to recap, when you go in, you're going to see bags that say garden soil, planting soil, sometimes it'll say raised bed soil. That's all essentially the same base, you know, and then sometimes they'll try and trick you and it'll be garden soil, $6.97 there, and then it says vegetable and herbs, a little thing that says compost, a little drip of water that says it holds water. Peat moss will hold all the water you need. You don't need any other additives put into there. So already you can just buy that, save yourself $2 a bag. So for every 4 bags of the garden soil you buy, you end up getting a free bag, essentially. Now, that compost, $4.97 is not bad. If you don't have your own, that's worth throwing in there. You could throw in some manures, as long as the manures are fully broken down, or you can throw in some of the leaf grow. Anytime you see bagged manure, you want to make sure you trust the company you're buying from and that manure is fully broken down. You don't want manure thrown into these mixes where it's not fully broken down, because as it breaks down from soil biology, it's going to pull nitrogen from the soil, which will deplete it from your plants. You can get around that by giving them water-soluble nitrogen in the form of fish emulsion or something like that. So you got your garden soils, you got your basic peat moss. Buy the peat moss, throw it into the garden soil. Then you're getting into making your own version of a container mix, of a potting mix, and that's how you end up saving money. So you're not paying $14.47 for something you can make probably at 50% 50% less. That was hard to say. 50% less, which is good. You can also save even more money is maybe use a bag of garden soil, some of your own earth, then mix that in with the peat moss, and you get the idea. Thanks for watching. Please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com. Don't get overwhelmed with all the different packaged soil products you see at the big box stores. Learn what just educate yourself a little bit on what you're buying, and when you go there, look for garden soil, pick whatever brand is on sale or cheaper, grab some peat moss, start making your own. Thanks again for watching.